Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to 3 viewer-submitted games of StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today are the very best players in the world facing off against each other. First off, we have a Protoss versus Terran played on Oceanborn. And spawning right here in the top left-hand corner, playing with the red Protoss pieces, we have none other than Kjam? I don't know. His opponent in the bottom right, playing with the blue SCVs. He goes by the name of Shefik. These sound like car names to me. I guess we have the Honda Shefik and the Toyota Kjam. There you go. I'm excited. Let's find out together exactly what ended up going down. Now, if you have an amazing game of StarCraft 2 that you have recently played, you can go ahead and send it on over to replays at LowkoTV. We have apparently been receiving a lot more as of late, so shout out to the legends that have been sending them over once more. In my defense, I'm the reason, I guess, why there weren't that many games coming in there for a little while, because I didn't cast the games that you guys send over to me. Anyways, I recently uploaded a viewer-submitted YouTube video with viewer-submitted games, and it seems like a lot of you are indeed enjoying the craziest build orders of them all. Now, of course, I will try and be positive throughout all of this, but I have noticed over the years, whenever I cast one of them, things are usually okay. When we get to the second one, I get a little bit salty. When we get to the third, I may be a bit of a jerk, but it's all obviously for fun. And even though I may be roasting some of the decision making, it is just, well, because the build orders are bad. Because the strategies suck. Like, what is this? What is all of this already? I mean, this is not too terrible. So this is Platinum League. Platinum League in general is, I mean, I guess when you look at the ladder system in StarCraft 2, it is kind of like the middle of the leagues. But at the same time, Platinum League is really small. Diamond League is where most folks get stuck. So I think Platinum League in total is like 250 MMR to go from like, I don't know, maybe like Platinum 3 all the way up to like Diamond 3. But that Diamond itself, Diamond League, is like 1,500. The league is so incredibly big these days that it is, yeah, uncommon to really see a lot of people get stuck in Platinum League. It seems to be Diamond League is a climb that can take literally years. Now, this is a proxy Stargate build that we used to see a very long time ago. You may remember the Void Ray shenanigans. Oh god, he may accidentally scout this. He's looking on the other side of the map because he's realized that there's supposed to be a nexus on the low ground. They have nerfed the Void Ray 3 times since then. They literally triple nerfed the unit, and this build disappeared. They also obviously reworked a lot of the other Terran's defenses, like for example the Viking, Stimpack even is a common... Wait, did I hear my... Wait, whose voice was that? I'm not exactly sure. I thought I heard the announcer right there, but I was talking over whoever was saying anything. Anyways, the Mule is even pulled away from the mineral line. Fun fact, Mules are the only units in StarCraft 2 that cannot attack, other than, I guess, you know, Overlords and maybe Changelings and all the likely units. But apparently we're going to try and still get this Void Ray out. Yeah, spellcasters, I guess, like the Viper and the Infestor. But it took me a very long time to realize, maybe this is just me, that Mules have no attack animation. A little bit funky. Anyways, the Void Ray is available. It is time to make the beam thick so we can shut down all of this Terran shenanigans. Can we please activate Prismatic Alignment? Can we please queue up another Void? What we don't need is no, we don't need that. Can we just like... Okay. Well, it's still gonna work out here in favor of the Protoss. Micro is apparently entirely unnecessary. Shefik, though, in the meantime, has built up an engineering bay and is going to go ahead and build a whole lot of missile turrets. Technically a reasonable choice. Oh my god, we're even going to go for the high-sec auto-tracking here. So that is the ranged upgrade for missile turrets. That is what we're doing here to try and counter Void Rays. Now, what if the Void Ray goes over here? Like, what if he goes to a spot, yeah, where those units can't reach? Can we just deny his entire mineral line? Luckily here for the Terran player, the second Void Ray is relatively late. We have the bunkers here at the front though, preventing the Stalker from breaking in. There is certainly an easy entrance though, through all of these structures towards the natural mineral line, and at that point, Shefik won't have a whole lot to do about all of this. It depends on where this Void Ray goes. Luckily here for the Terran player, he did make a quick expansion, so at the very least he's gonna get something done. Okay, apparently rather than denying that mineral line for a little bit longer, we're gonna try and group these bad boys up together. And rather than scouting for a natural, even though we've seen a couple of bunkers there, we're just gonna fly in this bad boy too and bring it equally low, like its brother. I think this is actually gonna die, yep. Easy kill right there for the Marines. High-sec auto-tracking, dude. That is not an upgrade we ever see rushed in StarCraft 2. That is the luxury upgrade, okay? That's the type of upgrade you get when you're a Terran millionaire. You think about building armor, you think about missile turret range, that sort of stuff, right? You think about medevac energy. Those are upgrades when you, have too much money. In the meantime, though, at home, we have Cam over here right now, going for a fleet beacon. So it looks to me like we're gonna follow this up with the slowest Tempest transition that we have ever seen. Tempest, though, of course, can outrange all of this. Generally speaking, the goal is to get the Tempest out as quickly as possible. But Cam... This is one of those situations where Cam, I think, has seen this once upon a time and is now trying to copy-paste it from memory, except everything is so incredibly slow that Terran is just, well, at least in theory, going to be able to run away with the win. Missile turret being attacked right now by a bunch of photon cannons. We have double expense in the meantime on the other side of the map. I mean, I honestly don't hate it. We had so much money to work with anyways. May as well give it a shot. Start queuing up those Tempests. Cam is already saving up his Vespian gas for the next game. That is always nice. He's saving it so his Protoss children can go to college. Very good. Okay, so this is 100% on a timer. Assuming Terran plays reasonably well, they should be able to overwhelm this easy peasy. Now, usually the first order of business is trying to get a good number of units going and stimp back. You can go into Vikings, you can go into Cyclones, those are all reasonable choices. But if you go Marine Tank, you really need Marine Tank upgrades. Now, we can go building armor. My man over here is rushing out the missile turret upgrades, dude. He's going building armor together with high-sec auto-tracking. We should really be spending our resources here, in my mind, on +1 infantry attacks for the Marines and, for example, Stimpec. That would be incredibly useful. The Tempest, though, outranges everything, right? So you kind of have to find a way to kill this. As long as the Tempest is located over here, though, and not being used for target firing, I guess it should be okay. Siege Tank, in the meantime, has killed one of those photon cannons. Okay, there's a tech lab coming up right now on the most tucked away barracks. Additional siege tanks showing up right now too. Okay. Where do we go from here? He's just slow pushing with missile turrets. I've never seen a slow push with missile turrets, dude. This guy's preparing for the next patch where missile turrets are going to be salvageable. Okay, the Marines, Stimpec or not, +1 upgrades or not, combat shields or not, they are still just gonna sacrifice their lives for the Terran Dominion. Siege tanks moving forward. 8.5 minutes though. The one base Tempest build finally gets its second unit. And I think Terran is gonna be able to clean this up. I have a hard time picturing Terran not ultimately winning this, although he is still pushing with missile turrets. Oh god. The missile turrets are the craziest unit to go for, man. Why did we not start up Stimpec? In the meantime, by the way, Cam, he's got a lot of money in the bank. Like a lot of money. Previously, we only had a ton of gas. Now we're also up to 1,000 minerals, and we're not actually producing anything. We're gonna recall on those units, and apparently we're giving up on this aggression altogether. Okay. Now, where do we take this game from here? In order to catch a Protoss player, we gotta think like a Protoss player. This man opened up Proxy Stargate, went for a whole lot of Void Rays and Tempest, a gajillion photon cannons and shield batteries. Right now, I would imagine the only way to proceed is Dark Templar. Dark Templar, it seems like the logical... Like, if you open the Great Protoss Book of Cheese, that is on the second page. We've already done page 3 and 4. I think we should probably go back to page 2. If we're gonna just play a normal macro game off of the back of this, I mean, honestly, it's not a terrible situation. As weird as as weird as it feels to say that, the game is actually relatively even. Cam got that third command center here, the third nexus here. He's gonna go into, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, we do have a third base coming up here too, but like, generally speaking, in this matchup, Protoss out-expands Terran by a little bit. A Stargate coming up at home, I'm not sure what that is all for, but I guess we have a fleet beacon. So we could go into a Mama ship. What about we go for the classic build of 1 Tempest, 1 Mothership, and then like 1 Zealot? Okay, 1 or 2 Stalkers. Everything comes in 2s right now here for Cam. It's a nice idea, but I wonder if this is just going to get overwhelmed by Marines and Marauders. Pretty good unit composition. By the way, fun fact, the building armor upgrade also gives you a bunker upgrade. How often do you see this? Pretty much never. But you do get to put 6 units inside of a bunker rather than 4. Once upon a time, those upgrades got merged, and this is the result. Funny thing is, we never actually see these units in a... like, we see them in a campaign, right? You play this in one of the campaign missions, maybe in co-op. But in multiplayer, a late-game bunker is basically never done. Air weapons coming up right now for Sheffic. Now, what does he have? He's got a Medevac. Medevac, much like Mules. Infestors, Vipers. Another one of those units that can't actually attack. We have 1 carrier on the production tab. A second Robo facility. We're gonna go for 1 Immortal into 1 Observer into 1 Colossus. I mean, to be fair, if the Colossus counters the Marines, and the 1 Immortal counts as, well, both the Siege Tanks as well as the Marauders, how do you kill a man that has 1 of each? It's a brilliant idea. Unit counters are so incredibly strict in StarCraft 2 that this kind of now feels like, say, Age of Empires. Age of Empires 4 in particular, where your archers just don't work anymore as soon as your opponent gets a man-at-arms. Anyways, we're gonna go into the missile turret slow push, dude. I have never seen anybody focus this much on missile turrets. There must always be a man in the missile turret, and Sheffic loves that man. Rarely do Terran players feel this close to the man in the missile turret. Now, as the Marines die, the Tempest and the 1 carrier, they're gonna be able to finish the job. Missile turrets, by the way, could kill it. Yeah, missile turrets do hit the Colossus as well. Look at them. Look at them sitting there. Little helmets on, ready to fight another day. I'm starting with the man in the missile turret. Sheffic is definitely listening to Michael Jackson while he's playing this, dude. You can tell by his micro. Oh, Stimpack. What about combat shields? Can we go with, okay. Alright, fair. 2 Colossi, 2 carriers, plus 1 air weapons. We have 20 missile turrets, so we have about a 1-to-5 ratio of missile turrets to supply. Earlier on that oh my god, really? We're gonna go Fusion Core right now together with a 2nd starport. Now, a 3rd starport even. Generally speaking, I would imagine that this is gonna be for Liberator ranged, but since this is Platinum League, I would imagine this can only ever be Kettle Bruisers. Everybody loves a good old battle cruiser. In the meantime, 4th base coming up. Terran is double expanding. What I love about fewer games, though, is that I honestly, at this point, have no clue who's gonna win this. Terran is ready to go donate a bunch more units. To be fair, like, there's just not a lot for base defense here for Cam, yeah. His gateway numbers are so low, he's only going for high-tier units. He's only got 58 supply, and Vikings do sort of mess this up if they are microed a little bit. But that's exactly where the viewer games are so interesting. You never know if anything is ever going to be microed. Okay, the Vikings are going to go in, though. Yeah, the Vikings are going to mess up a lot of this. We probably need a couple of Stalkers here underneath, or maybe an Archon or 2. That might not be a bad play. Siege Tank drives by in this location. Yeah, I think that's the end for all of the flying units, other than these two left over right now. But again, there's just not enough left over to really finish the job. And even though Shevik overall, in my mind at the very least, has won that fight, he showed up with too few units, and it means that he's once more gonna get pushed back. The Nexus lives too, and those siege tanks are by no means cheap. Ultimately, the carrier numbers are growing. It's a very slow progression. If he would use some of his chrono boost, that would be incredibly useful, but so far we don't really see it yet. Starport number 4 and 5? How many starports are we building, dude? This guy is going missile turret starport. Alright. A very, let's call it unique unit composition. We do, by the way, have the fusion core done, but no upgrades out of it yet. We're going smart servos as well, which is very useful if you want to, I don't know, turn your Hellions into Hellbats. Or change the attack modes between, you know, for the Thor. For Vikings, not as useful. Marines, not that great. Twilight Council coming up. You know what? We need a Dark Shrine, dude. Or High Templar. High Templar would be even better with Sonic Storm. I guess this man has already been playing this game, like he can salvage missile turrets. So maybe he's also going for smart servos for the future Liberators. I'm just thinking out loud here, but it's not a bad idea. Cloak coming up for the Ghosts. Much like the previous units, though, there are none of those out available yet. Now, here goes Shevik once again. The Vikings are murdering... Oh, the Widow Mines! The Widow Mines! Dude, the Widow Mines can actually kill the Vikings. He is so lucky that those Widow Mines are not killing the Vikings. Widow Mines, of course, can deal friendly fire. Really strange to see those interceptors not being targeted like that. He's making 9 Vikings at a time. Yeah. And ultimately, it looks like this fight will be won. We're going cattle... Dude, he's just getting any upgrade he can get. This man is an upgrade fanatic. Who needs units when you can't get upgrades? Winning through diplomacy alone. He's gonna type in the chat, I have better units than you. Let's avoid further conflict and have you leave the game right now. Diplomacy is always an option in a game of StarCraft. Cam calls GG well played. And it's Shevik who wins the game. Our next game. It's time for a Zerg versus Protoss played in Silver League. Spawning right here, in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, playing with the red Zerg drones. We have none other than... Have fun. HF. His opponent, down in the bottom left with the blue Protoss pieces, he goes by the name of Jode. You know, honestly, the most surprising thing about that previous game, maybe I shouldn't be surprised about the missile turrets and the lack of any, you know, battle cruisers and any of those other units, right? Like the Ghosts as well. Maybe I should be surprised about the fact that we actually had a polite GG well played. I have seen many, many viewer games. And I would say maybe 1 of 10 ends with a GG. A GG well played is exceptionally rare. Most of them end with the opponents trying to flip the table. Or just, well, nothing being said. Just one player randomly leaving. This is a significant chunk down on the ladder, though. So if you were already cringing a little bit in the previous game, this one is, yeah, in Silver League. Which is, generally speaking, a little bit more painful. But we can learn many things from this particular match, too, I'm sure. We have a hatchery going down on the low ground here for the Zerg player. We've gone into a spawning pool all the way on the edge of the creep. Not sure why we're building it over here. And we're gonna go apparently into the gas geyser too. Queen coming up, everything relatively normal. Jode going for what seems to be a very normal build. Yeah. This was a 20 supply Nexus, it looks like. With a 20 supply Cybernetics core as well. We should see the gas. Okay, pylon timing here is decent. All of this is pretty solid. Jode probably has like maybe like a post-it note stuck to his monitor with how to open up in the early game. That second gateway is a little too quick, but you know what? I'll allow it. Roachworn coming up in the meantime right here for HDHF. Is this gonna be for aggression? I'm not 100% sure. We haven't done anything, though. Yeah, no, we've already thrown the build order posted off the... Yeah, we've already got rid of it. Losing this pylon is basically the same as losing the game. Oh, God. Oh, God. Why are we... We really have to, like... Okay. Well, let the pain commence. Don't go home. Oh, okay. Honestly, losing the pylon, it slows down Protoss such a tremendous amount. Keep in mind that this was also not like a Stargate before we've ever gone into anything else. So, since the Cybercore finished, nothing really was built. And it means that Protoss has been slowed down by like a minute and a half. Technically speaking... Oh, now we're gonna pull probes. Technically speaking, that is unrecoverable. Especially for such a small commitment on the side of the Zerg player. Now Zerg is gonna get donated a bunch of probes as well. Nice moves here, actually, by HDHF. Don't know if that was on purpose or it just happened by... yeah. Maybe it just, like, the pullback there was really solid. Letting only one probe attack him at a time. Excellent stuff. Now, what we don't need really is a third hatch, but it looks like that's what we're gonna do. Because this game is essentially over if you go for any follow-up here. Oh, God. Really? This game is over if you make a round of links. Like, you've basically won the game with 4 Zerglings. Imagine what you could have done if you built 8. Instead, what we're gonna do is go proxy hatch together with a lair. Imagine another, like, I don't know, 10 speedlings showing up right at this point in time. It would be done. Now, he didn't go Zergling speed. As a matter of fact, he's just gathering gas for nothing. We didn't make any roaches, even though we rushed out a roach warren. The killer instinct of HDHF is not quite there, but it's developing, you know? None of us were born with, you know, fine motor skills. We all struggled the very first time we ate spaghetti. HDHF is learning how to get this sort of work done. Now, we've got additional Zerglings coming up. We're going Overlord speed at the same time as we go Zergling speed. What about we just, like, attack? Like, literally, like, we just take and we just, like... Yeah, that way we go. Look at his micro by Jode. He's got 1 unit and a dream. The dream is losing all the probes, but keeping the Stalker alive. Okay. Economy of the Protoss is once again destroyed, but he's easily still alive. So what is this hatchery for? What are we gonna do? He's very focused on creep spread. We're spending at least, like, I don't know, I want to say half of our actions per minute here on creep spread. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but we could also just go kill him. How about we, like, you know, just go kill him? He's been injecting his base as well. He's building up static defense at home to deal with a hypothetical oracle. Oh my God, we're gonna follow this up with a spine crawler all in? I mean, this is still pretty much an unlosable game for Zerg, but it's becoming more losable. Protoss, in the meantime, by the way, has not started up the warp gate research. He did make a cybercore, but other than a couple of stalkers, he's not making any use of the cybercore. We're not really getting any use out of, like, say, Twilight Council, Robo Facility, Stargate, anything along those lines. Okay. He found the base, and it is indeed gonna get shut down. Queens will fight for their lives. We do have Zergling speed done at this point, but absolutely no support. Okay, there it is, coming in. I thought I saw Zerglings on the production tab. Jode's still just making stalkers, though. If we like stalkers that much, should we consider upgrading them? Okay, we don't really need more gas. We already have 1200 gas. But apparently we are going to try and build a nexus over here on the left side of the map, even though we have to mine out the mineral fields that we started. Oh, God. That's ambitious, little probe. We started mining out the mineral fields and then apparently tried to go through them. We have one spine and one spore coming up. The queens are coming in. The spine crawlers are moving forward. Protoss actually has a superior economy, despite the fact that he's lost 21 probes. And despite the fact that he was dead at about minute 2 in my mind. This game is actually not horrid. It's actually playable. Especially if we would go for the warp gate research, though. Especially if we would actually build some additional, I don't know, infrastructure in the main base. Really anything. And just spend our money. Spine crawlers coming in. Queens coming in. Zerglings running to the front. Overlord speed is done, baby. We're gonna scout and see what's going on. Lucky here for HDHF. Protoss has no clue what's going on either. But he is finally making a robo facility. We're gonna drop a little bit of creep over here. No, these stalkers are gonna die. I don't think the stalkers can really fight against all of this. In a one-on-one engagement between a queen, the queen will win. And the spine crawlers don't mess around, man. Look at that, we even have a transfusion. HDHF has found the transfusion button. And even though he, has the killer instinct of a toddler, he's still trying it. Are we gonna spread creep into... No! We should have gone in the main, bro! Okay, maybe next. Maybe next one. Maybe next one. If Protoss spends their money, though... This is... Oh! Warp gates! This is technically winnable. Likewise for Zerg, if he actually spends his money and just builds a bunch of stuff, like literally anything. Okay, maybe not hatcheries, but anyways, I guess I'll let that slide. Just make anything. Imagine like 17 Ravagers showing up right now. 17 Ravagers. That would be hard to beat. We have the money for it. Joe Dado, he's got one immortal. One immortal and a dream. Immortal with battery overcharge. Going through every single one of those spine crawlers. That gateway is not gonna live, but we do have additional gateways over here. And while the creep tumor is now in the main base, I can scout all of this. It's an interesting way to scout the opponent, I'm not gonna lie. Spreading a creep tumor all the way across the map and then scouting with it. Not a common sight in a pro game. Hydra then coming up, +1/+1 coming up for the Zerg player. Zerg though hasn't really made any workers. Ever since the drones over here, have turned into spines. So we're really just adding a couple additional ones here to make more spine crawlers. This is, all jokes aside, the longer that this goes on, the worse it will be for Zerg. The banks are absolutely massive. But this is much better right now for Protoss. I would love to see a sentry. I would love to see some guardian shields in particular. All of that is nice, but really what we need to do is just spend our money. And 3 immortals, as much as stalkers struggle here, immortals are really strong. Now it's really only 2 immortals because this guy is on his tippy toes the entire time, not actually contributing at all. Now that we have warp gates done, we can start killing all of this stuff. Oh my god, dude, if HDHF actually loses this after killing the opponent's cybercore and like 9 probes and the pylon that was powering the natural at like minute 2. If he actually wins this, Protoss that is, I'm gonna lose my mind. We're sending the Spore Crawler home. You know that's when things are dire, Brenda. When the Spore Crawler is... Oh my god, he GG's out. What a game. What a game. How to turn an unlosable game into a loss. How to... Well, are we actually leaving? Hold up right now. We're not actually... a classic. No, we're not actually leaving. We're just calling GG, but then we're staying in the game. I do have to compliment, though, for Silver League, this creep spread is absurd. Like, the priority is so bad, because we shouldn't be spreading creep so much. We should probably be spending our actions on things that aren't creep spread. But, you know, he has covered the map in all of the Zerg goo very, very nicely. There's no way he can win this, though. As soon as Protoss goes across the map, he's still dead. Yeah, no way. These are Unupgraded Zerglings. I guess they have +1 armor, but for all intents and purposes, pretty much unupgraded. Protoss also doesn't have much, though. Protoss is bringing an observer to the party. Are you brave enough at this point to go across the map? Yeah, it's a little bit sketchy. I think you should always bring a prism with you. And just, you know, if unsure, just spend all your money and go from there. He can't currently build a nexus, by the way, because it's spread by the creep. But eventually the creep will dissipate. GGing and then not leaving the game, by the way, is arguably worse than not GGing. Yeah, I would actually say it's worse. That's like shaking your opponent's hand, pretending like you give up, and then punching them in the mouth. It's considered a little toxic. Luckily, so far, Jode, he's dodging it. What are we doing, dude? How are we going into Hydra Ling now? I mean, Zerg is going back to spending their money. +1 is coming up here for the Zerg player, too. I don't hate that. We should probably fire up the +2 and go into the double upgrades for the Hydra then. Yeah, this is the second upgrade already. Hydra ranged is done. We have a Forge coming up, 2 of them, together with a Twilight Council in the meantime. Yo, this game seemed over, but it's not. We have Zealots without charge, Stalkers without blink, no Sentries in the mix, no Archons in the mix. Jode he's going in raw. Let's see. I don't know if he wins this. Hydras don't mess around, man. These are +1/+1 Hydras. Okay, well, maybe if we micro the Hydras, it's worse. Yeah, he keeps walking the Hydras. That's not actually a good idea. Nah, there's just a little too much Protoss. There's a little too much Protoss. It was certainly a preemptive GG, though, from the Zerg, but I think this seals the deal. Oh my god. Jode is feeling ambitious. We went for an Infestor? Fungal! Okay. HDHF. Okay, he leaves the game. But this man, he's got spellcasters, Hydra Ling in his mind, and then a whole lot of creep spread. We should probably go back to basics. If he just played a relatively normal game, this game would have been over at minute 3 in his advantage, but ultimately it's the Protoss here that will obtain the victory. Alrighty, and for our final game of the day, we climb back up on the ladder. We have a Diamond League Protoss saying, "Thanks, you!" Apostrophe at the... Okay, yeah, sure. It's playing right here with the red Protoss pieces. We have none other than... Wait. It was the Butcher with the blue SCVs. The opponent, though, in the top right with the red Protoss probes. He goes by the name of Oh Cruel. So, to clarify, if I'm not mistaken, the Butcher is Diamond League and Oh Cruel is Platinum, but it could actually be vice versa. I was just looking at it on the loading screen. Could be one of the two. Doesn't really matter. This is, I guess, low Diamond / high Platinum League. So, this should be our highest level game of the day. So far, these games have been nothing but high level. We've seen defeat snatched from the jaws of victory several times already. I wonder if this game is going to be similar. Now, it looks like we're starting off with a peace offering. 5 minerals are being brought across the map by Oh Cruel. His nickname may be Cruel, but he's starting this game off with what seems to be the promise of an alliance. It's like, here, little Terran, have 5 minerals. Take them, little SCV. Here's the SCV, ready to grab some of them. Now, it turns out the only way you can get those minerals is by killing the probe. One of the issues that, yeah, you run into here. So, apparently the diplomacy has not worked out. We do have the promise of a mothership right now. Right below the Nexus. We also have a pretty cool clan decal, dude. Look at that. It's like a swan. It's like a bird with like a... There's some sort of like... Yeah, it's nice. None of that going on right here for the Butcher. This guy is hungering for fresh meat. Got a couple claws over here underneath it. So we're gonna go straight into a tech lab. So we're going double barracks, tech lab, and then a reactor. In case you're wondering what's this build, it's not. This is not a... Well, for all intents and purposes, it's a build, I guess. But it's not really a build. Proxy Nexus in the meantime going up for Oh Cruel in the top left-hand corner. We're going concussive shells. Whoa. Okay, that would have been my third option here. Honestly, this would have been my fourth option. I know there's only 3 upgrades in the tech lab, but I would have expected, yeah, either Stimpack first, Combat Shield second, and then just Marauder Marine Production third, and then concussive shells as the very first upgrade. I mean, it's a quick one. If your opponent is going, I don't know, Proxy Stalker or something, you would kill them. I find it unlikely that the opponent would go Proxy Stalker. I also want to just highlight the gloriousness that is this, this empty command center. I would say one of the most powerful tools in all of StarCraft 2 is the orbital command. The fact that this is low Diamond League and we don't see an orbital command as soon as the barracks finishes up, it hurts me physically. Like, I am actually in pain watching this. Please make an orbital command. Like, please, like, just, like, please. Like, thank you. Thank God. I had to beg, but the orbital is coming right now. Oh, you know what this is? This is a proxy Rex, except we're not proxy Rexing. It's a proxy Rex without the proxy. We're going for a Marauder cheese, but then minus the cheese. We're just walking the units across the map. Now, he's hoping that there is a Nexus here. He didn't scout, so he doesn't know what's up. Luckily, Protoss is gonna give him a Nexus to kill. Oh, he shouldn't have actually sniped that pylon. Or the probe, rather. He would have had a Nexus to kill. So, we have warp gates. We have a robo facility. And we have a proxy Nexus. Yeah, we definitely need to pull some probes and we need to warp in some units. We have the warp gates here, thank you. A sentry would actually not be a terrible choice if they're going down the ramp, but maybe like an immortal or like literally anything. Like literally anything, bro. I will just take literally anything right now. Okay. Well, we're doing nothing instead of anything. Terran, in the meantime, still just rallying units across. We've gone concussive shells for the Marauders into combat shields for the Marines. It is an interesting play. The Butcher, he does not believe in Stimpaks. Stimpaks are bad for your health. For your health. It's basically like steroids for your Marines. He doesn't believe in additional strength. Only in defensive tools instead, so can't blame the man. Oh, well, shooting at the unbuildable plate is actually kind of painful here. But it looks like we are thinking about a Nexus here eventually. Yeah, this is a straight edge Butcher. It's a vegan Butcher. Yeah, it's it's interesting. Alright, Observer gets all army hotkeyed back home, but it has scouted that there's a whole lot of nothing going on the other side of the map. This was basically a one-base play from the Butcher. So, what do we do now? In the meantime, by the way, this Nexus in the top left is entirely unscouted. So the Butcher knew that there was supposed to be a Nexus here. He saw this inside of the main base, so you'd imagine that there is an expansion out there somewhere. Because otherwise, what is the alternative? Well, I'll tell you what the alternative is. The opponent flooding an additional 600 minerals or so. Technically an option. Rather than making a couple of command centers, we're just gonna slowly improve. Yeah, we've gone for the supply depot drops, fair enough. That's one way, I guess, to get supply depots back. This Nexus, though, in the top left, is going in hard. Here we go again. Protoss is gonna try and see, or sorry, Terran is gonna try and see if they can finish off the Protoss player. He knows he just killed a whole lot of probes. He knows he's going up against what looked like a one-base Protoss. So, we're gonna try and see if we can finish this off. Observer positioned in such a way that Cruel can see this coming in from a mile away. He doesn't really have any units over here, though. Like, why do we still only have about 6 units? We're gonna go for... What about a sentry? Like, literally a sentry. Like any unit over here on the ramp. Nobody considers the sentry, dude. How do we only have 32 probes, by the way? 32 seems very low. Anyways, he's got a decent economy. But this is not an army that's going to be able to beat that of the Terran. Now, this is still straight edge Butcher. He does not have any Stimpack. The fact that there's no Stimpack and he rushed out Attack Lab and then got concussive shells into combat shields is very funny. No Stimpack production anywhere. Drugs are bad for you, okay? Don't use the Stimpaks. For Diamond League gameplay, this is a little bit disappointing for me. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If this was rank roulette, I probably would have guessed gold. What? We're going for glaive adepts? How about we tech up, dude? How about we, like, literally do anything here? Glaive adepts? I kind of hate it. I mean, it'll work. Oh, no. Well, unless we walk into the siege tank range. How about we, like, make, like, maybe, like, a Robo Bay and we go into a Colossus, or we, like, make charge, or something like that. I will allow Archons with charge, maybe a Forge with a +1. Anyways, siege tanks rolling forward, and the base in the top left, still entirely unscouted. Double Stargate coming up in the meantime. There's currently a lot of balance discussion going on in StarCraft 2, right? And I see a lot of people that are upset about, like, say, like, the Immortal becoming 25 minerals cheaper. This is the level of gameplay I picture whenever I see somebody complaining on the Battle.net forums. Like, I don't think it's gonna affect you, man. Like, I really don't think you're ever gonna notice. I don't think you'll tell the difference. Anyways, seconds before the Glaive Adept upgrades is done, we are apparently trading out every single one of the, okay, no, we have still, we're gonna go into Stalkers now. Okay, perfect. We have a Void Ray building in the top left. Second Stargate. It's gonna kick in here in just a moment. You can see though, so the big difference between this one and the Silver League game we had a look at is that both players are actually doing a reasonable job spending their money. Like, keeping the resources relatively low while having a relatively large economy is quite nice. It's just that strategy here is completely whack. The Butcher, by the way, still without Stimpack. I can't believe we are watching like 100 Marines die. Okay, we only have about 50 something of them. But anyways, I can't believe we have this many Marines but no Stimpack. I'm a little afraid here for the Butcher, if I'm being honest with you. Marines are pretty good against Void Rays, but the Void Ray numbers are growing. And without Stimpack, they're actually kind of a pain to kill. This is another one of the situations that is practically unlosable for the Butcher, but he has no clue. I don't think you want to recall the units here. Well, maybe you do, but if like your strategy is to hide your build, your opponent is going to obviously pick up on it, right? Okay, instead we're going to just sacrifice our armies. I don't love that either. No, I don't know what you should do. What are we doing with the probes? Why are we spending any time on this at all? Fleet Beacon in the meantime, building on the top left-hand corner. Cybercore coming up. We have a second Nexus that just finished building over there too. The Butcher did make a command center and he did make an orbital, so credit where credit is due. But he does not understand what's happening in this game at all. I've got a feeling the Butcher already leaned his chair back. He's putting his feet up on the table. He's eating Doritos with his left hand. He's only just controlling the mouse. He's going into a Fleet Beacon. A Terran Fleet Beacon, the Fusion Core, before Stimpack. This guy thinks the game is over. Now that is a very dangerous thing. He assumes that these are the final structures of the Protoss player. And he's got to be in for a little secret when the victory screen does not pop up right now. Ah, crap. Maybe we should have sent a Marine around. Maybe we should have realized that something was not correct here. The Void Ray numbers have been going up slowly. We have 5 of them now in total, and they're going to be zooming to the left side of the map. We have a single Raven coming. I guess that's for detection. We're going to make the beam thick, though. And a thick beam? I mean, that was my nickname in college. They called me prismatic alignment. Anyways, the Nexus, or the Terran Nexus here, does go down. At the cost of a single void, and they're also retreating to the top left. So I've got a feeling this is very obvious. Right? Take the army, move it over here. Like, please. Terran, man. No, not again. Not again. Not again. Oh no, not again. High-sec auto-tracking and mass missile turret, please. What are we doing? How do people, what is the point? This guy did not go Stimpec, and he's not scouting. Oh no, he is scouting. Oh, thank God. There's one Marine.
Base is under attack.
He's gonna find that Protoss has 2 bases. Why would we go for the most passive setup? Why would we not go kill him? Why do we go mass missile turret when we have such a good army? Instead, we're gonna allow them to build up a Skytles ball? Oh no. Terran, by the way, is on 1 base. We're 13.5 minutes in. We have no more money, so what little cash we have, we're gonna invest into missile turrets. This is a classic case of trying to not die. Trying to not die is... maybe it's a good build order in IRL, but in StarCraft 2, I recommend being a little bit more proactive. Like... oh god, this is gonna end with a base raise, isn't it? A non-stim-packed base raise. We have high-sec auto-tracking after a 2-minute Marauder upgrade. Yeah, prismatic alignment activated. So that does mean he needs to actually fight the missile turrets. The win condition in a game of StarCraft 2 is to kill your opponent's structures. And missile turrets are structures. I don't know, man. Terran is killing everything. Protoss, in the meantime, retaking the natural expansion. Terran does not have any vision out on the map whatsoever. Siege tanks are rolling on over towards the top left. And for the second time in a row, it looks like the Butcher is gonna be surprised when the victory screen does not show up. We are not actually doing much though. We're loading up medevacs full of units. 16 Marines that get a little bit of a lunch break. In the meantime, the high-sec auto-tracking, giving those missile turrets +1 range, coming in clutch. We're waiting until the beam can be made thick again. Some people call it a cooldown. Some people don't. So all of the Terran structures, or all of the Protoss structures have been killed. We have a medevac boost coming in clutch. It's gonna scout that there is a Nexus. But, in the meantime, all the way in the far bottom right, looks like the probes have mined out one of those mineral fields here. And they have moved on over towards the bottom right-hand corner. All of the missile turrets are being destroyed. Don't target the... okay, well, target it. Sure, whatever you want to do, buddy. Maybe target the missile turrets first, because those are the units that are actually a problem for you. The Butcher, for the 3rd time in a row, is gonna get jebaited when he sees that again. The victory screen does not pop up. This is, by the way, the final set of structures for the Butcher. He's not gonna win against the Void Race. There's another Nexus building. There's 2 of them out. I don't believe that Terran is gonna be able to find out about this. Obviously, Cruel does not know that this is the final Terran structure. Has it been revealed yet? Yeah, no, it has been revealed. He knows! He knows! Wait. Whoa. Oh, we have one more supply depot. Okay, I didn't notice the supply depot. Cruel boost the offensive, GG! This has got to be one of the dumbest games of StarCraft I've ever seen. Oh my god.